I want to go to Don Peebles right now, the former Barack Obama fundraiser, advisor, and friend, Peebles Corporation CEO and founder. Don, I do want to talk to you about other things, of course, but this trial going on for Hunter Biden, an issue for the president, or how do you see it?
I mean, look, he's got home field advantage, right? It is in Delaware. And the First Lady is attending the case. I mean, I think it's a problem, but not any greater problem than he's already had. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he's convicted. It seems pretty apparent that he should be. The idea of throwing a gun in the trash is a little bit
Well, you
concerning.
need to know as one juror who doesn't agree.
That's true, and he may get that, but you never know. Look, I think that it will be another issue for the president, but the president has a bunch of issues that I think are more problematic for him than his son right now.
All right, let's talk about some of those issues. You've been talking about the economy and inflation and this very reality that the president just can't get around. What do you say?
I think that the Americans are struggling right now. They're feeling the pain of a high inflation that's been ongoing since he came into office. They've done very little to change that. In fact, they fueled it for the first year and a half. And his campaign rhetoric is not about the issues that Americans are experiencing right now. They're wedge issues. He's trying to go and attract women based on reproductive rights. He's trying to scare African Americans into voting for him. Neither one of them is he going to and saying, hey, I've got a plan to level the playing field so we can turn the page on race.
What about on the immigration issue? He's taking these, executive actions, whatever you want to call them today, to do something Republicans say should have done a long time ago, not to the president's, benefit here. Except, well, I'm doing it now, and you guys are still criticizing me, and the back and forth goes. It's being highly charged politically. What do you think?
Well, I mean, too little, too late. I mean, look at the impact that's had on New York. His policies have decimated New York City. His abandonment of New York City in terms of leaving us to fend for ourselves here with this migrant crisis, not supporting a Democratic mayor, and in fact, because the Democratic mayor spoke out against some of his policies, started attacking him too. I mean, I just think that his approach now to immigration is merely to try to swing some voters because they're stuck in the mud. He can't move. His numbers aren't moving.
But even the progressives within his own party don't like the actions he's taking here, because some of them will make it much tougher to say claim asylum when you want to come to the United States. So they're already willing and eager to challenge that in court, and here we go again.
Yeah, I mean, the president has nowhere to go. His numbers aren't going to move. He's not going to become a different person than he is. He is who he is. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. And he is a candidate that we're going to have to face Donald Trump.
The polls are pretty close. If there was any sense of harm to former President Trump with his 34, guilty verdicts, hasn't really popped up. Certainly hasn't affected, his money-raising capabilities. Anything, it's emboldened them. I guess some of the figures have it at about $400 million that he's been raising between, a rich billionaire heiress and to say nothing of just people giving $20, $25 at a time, tens of millions of dollars worth of that. So the president and the former president will have ample funds to carry on this race. How do you think that goes?
Well, I think that the advantage is clearly Donald Trump. I think he's underpolling. I think that there are voters who will be uncomfortable telling strangers who they're voting for, and especially Donald Trump.
Just like 2016.
Yes, because I think people, I think the far left and the mainstream media overall have vilified him. And I think that most Americans, me included, think this trial was a farce. I mean, it is absurd to manufacture 34 felonies over some accounting issues that he's not an accounting, he's not the CFO.
So the convictions carry no weight, and in your opinion, even though some Americans are saying 47% or so, it matters, but not matters enough to tip the scales, because the polls so far don't show it.
I mean, look, everybody can't have it both ways.
Right.
If you look at what happened in Florida when George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin, when Trayvon Martin was killed, he was acquitted because the local juries had a bias towards standing your ground and other issues there. So he was unfairly acquitted. Donald Trump was unfairly convicted in an environment where it would be impossible for him to get a fair trial. And these are not the issues. The Manhattan District Attorney going after the President of the United States, or former President of the United States, and trying to affect a federal election. This is a federal issue, should have been a federal issue. And we know that the only reason Trump was indicted and tried and convicted is because people here don't agree with his politics.
So let's talk a little bit about when you were last here. I got a big response because a lot of people said, we should run that guy for office, referring to you. But you said something about Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, who, if he wants to run for re-election, you won't challenge him. And in a city like this, where Democrats rule the roost, that was just as good as re-electing him, wasn't it?
Well, no, look, I think that I think Eric Adams came into office with a plan to focus on moving New York forward, to get crime under control.
And it's not working. It's not working.
Well, actually, crime is down a bit. And so he came in to do that and then was saddled with this migrant crisis.
Fine,
and got
but
no
he's
help.
not popular. And so
I
just want to be clear with you. When you said you're not entertaining running for mayor, and I think he would do very well. I'm not politically astute, but I think people are looking for an adult or someone who can calmly look at the crisis and deal with it. You're saying you're taking a pass on that.
Yeah, I do believe that some of the policies that Eric Adams is implementing will take root and they will show results. They're beginning to show them now. He has a lot of headwinds. I mean,
what about governor? Would you run for governor?
I mean, Kathy Hochul's just gotten reelected, and she needs to do her job, and I think she's going to work hard to keep doing her job.
Not governor, not mayor. I guess that leaves president down the road, but what do you think?
That you never know.
Oh, okay, there we go, there we go. Don, always good seeing you. Thank you very much.